Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ghost with another edition of the weekly prep, going through ES and SPY levels. So let's get to it. So the first ticker we're looking at is SPY this time. Just going through, looking at the weekly time frame here. Looks like nothing's changed in the supply zone from last week, but I have updated our new demand on the weekly time frame. So as you can see, that nice long candle that formed right here 2 weeks ago. It wasn't a demand. I was still using this area for demand. But as you can see, the trend has changed. So now we can move our price action into more recent and get the zone updated. So here, as you can see, 391.75 for the top and 380.49 for the bottom. And then I just have some key resistance areas above and below, resistance and supports. So those are pretty much everything, and then we got this next supply zone all the way up here if we manage to break through this weekly zone here. So looking at the weekly time frame and how we're just still consolidating here, I wouldn't be shocked if we do come back and retest this demand level here, how it's kind of been forming and shaping up. Probably will be staying in this area until FOMC next month. That's what I'll be looking for coming into this week, what we do in this zone, and if we break back below 402.68 with a final target of 391.75 depending on the break. So that's it for the weekly. Let's get into the daily. So now looking on the daily time frame, got these levels right here. So our supply zone right up at the top of 414.81. Bottom of the zone, 410.64. As you can see, we broke out with a nice strong volume candle. Came up, tapped into that supply, rejected on a smaller decreasing volume. And we got that push up on Friday, or Thursday, excuse me. And now coming into this week, looking to see if we want to go retest it. We'll be staying patient. These are the zones I'm paying closely attention to. Once we fall back below this zone, if we do fall back below this zone, I am not going to be paying attention to SPY as much. I'll be paying more attention to ES. But if we do break above this zone, I definitely like SPY levels. Just a few, just looking at it right here. So these are still those weekly support resistance levels I have up. As you can see how these lined up. In particular, let's go to the first one. On the daily time frame, these would be our daily zones. So you can see how those levels, even on the weekly time frame, correlate with the daily. So that would be the next supply zone you would target. And then the next one would be our zone up here. Those would be the two zones I'd be definitely watching once we break out here. And if we break below here, I'll be going through my ES levels and I'll be watching more ES than SPY. Just because how the price action moved between these two zones. So you can see a lot of head fakes. It's not as clean as ES, and the zones are much cleaner. So these are my daily time frame. Now let's get into the hourly. So going through the hourly, there's just a few levels I'll probably be watching closely. Not a ton of levels. Definitely we'll be keeping an eye on this if we do want to retrace one more time. Just how this area based. I'd like to see that for a bounce back in here. For the supply zone, for rejections, we got this nice clean rejection last week. Definitely want to keep more eyes on it. See if we get back above that. And once we get above this level, I only have the top of the zone for a resistance in this area right here. After that, we get into the next supply zone where I will see if there is a level that might be able to give us. Definitely will be paying attention to this area right here. So that 429.87. I might actually switch over to ES. We'll see how ES levels look if we do get back above even this 421 zone. But for now, this week coming in, I'll be just paying attention to these two zones. That 412.89 level. See how we react there, and the top of the zone at 414.8. And bottom of the zone 410.64. And if we do come back down, see how we react to that 407 level and 404.58. So that's it for SPY. Should be a good week. Should get much clearer action than last week. And let's get into ES. So now looking at ES on the weekly time frame, there's a few differences I still see with ES and SPY. As you've seen on SPY, we had that updated weekly demand zone. ES, that weekly demand zone hasn't changed. I'm still using the candle on December 19, using that as our weekly demand zone, but we did stay in the supply zone. We dojied it, which is usually a sign of reversal, but we will stay patient and play the price action. Got these levels above for resistance on the weekly time frame and below for support. So nothing really different from last week. We did get into a strong move in here and we just basically sat into the supply zone. So I'll still be watching this zone, see if we want to break above. As you guys know, on the weekly time frame, things are a lot slower, so do not expect to move straight down here in 1 week. We'll just stay patient, play the levels on the smaller time frames, but just it's great to have a good outlook to see how we're sitting and how the candles are forming inside the weekly time frame. So that's it for the weekly. Let's get into the daily. So now looking on the daily time frame for ES, pretty similar to SPY. Still got that supply zone, but different from SPY, we never actually got into our supply zone on ES. They left it a little bit short, came back, and we got that retest of the zone before Thursday breaking back up, and we got that nice push up. So now what I'm looking to see is if we do want to go retest this zone. I do believe we might get that this week. And if we do, same thing with SPY, as you can see on the weekly resistance levels, they do line up with our daily zones. So I'll draw those out. We got this zone right here. We got this zone right here. It's pretty similar. And then same thing with our demand levels on the daily time frame. And we got this lower demand zone. So these are the zones. I'd like to just stay right in here. If we do fall back below, we'll play the breakouts of either side. We push up over here. I don't see much room on the daily for resistance, so we will definitely look into the hourly to find a level between these two zones. If we get this push out inside the zone as well, we'll find a resistance in there, anything that formed new, and on the daily. But right now, so we got that 4203.09 as the top of this daily demand and 4175.61 on the bottom of that zone. And then as well for our demand, 4132 for the top of the zone and 4116 0.37 for the bottom. Just keep an open mind, play the price action. Don't come into this week with a biasness. Whatever they want to do, we just react and we try to make money and get out of the market. So let's get into the hourly, find some levels. So now we're on to the hourly time frame for ES. Just a few things I want to look at quickly. Some levels maybe we can use as confirmations, trim levels, support or resistance levels. I see one I am going to be paying attention to this week. Right. Right there, 4163.75. Another one. Only place I might try a rejection before the top of the zone. $41.80. And then we have the top of the zone for resistance. And then if we do break back above, can't see much resistance other than that level, right? Let me get more specific. 42.21. So this area will be pretty tight action, fast scalp. We only got really 20 points from zone to zone, 25 points. And then we got what other resistance right here. As you can see, we got these two levels here. Should have, let me erase this level. Oops. We are going to have some tight price action once we pass this level. I can see a lot of this type of price action. So we will stay patient next week once we get up to the top of the zone. But for the first levels I will be watching it for above is this 4163 and this 4180 and our top of our zone 4203. For support level, we did have that bounce from this area. The next area I could see will be the bottom of the demand zone if we do pull back in here. Not much action after that. Have lower highs. I believe if we do break back below, this same price action will be followed with the downside. We can come back into this zone. That's all the levels I'll be watching for now on ES coming into this week. If you guys enjoy this video, let me know. If you guys want a detailed video of a potential entry I see coming up this weekend, just write down in the comments if you do like to see that. I'll do a small little video for you guys because I see one nice setup coming into this week. Most likely it will be if we do want to break above this supply, what we want to look for, and how to enter with our risk management. But that's it for this week. These are my levels I'm watching. Again, don't let biasness take over your positioning. Just play the zones, play the levels, use your confirmation tools, and trade smart, trade safe. Let's have a great week. Peace.